Hello everyone, welcome to From the Heart. I'm Joshua.
And I'm Mary.
We're excited to bring to you all that's new and good when it comes to the arts in Central Florida.
With us today is Flora Maria Garcia, President and CEO of United Arts of Central Florida. Let's hear about Flora Maria, the person, and find out why she devotes her life to helping artists. Welcome, Flora Maria.
Yeah, welcome back. So tell us just a little bit about yourself. Where are you from and how did you get into the arts?
So I'm Cuban, and I emigrated to the United States when I was 7. My parents put me on an airplane with my brother at the last minute. We sat on the laps of their friends, and I landed here with my brother, and we lived with my aunt and uncle for about 6 months before my parents and my little brother were able to join us. And I got thrown into an American school not speaking a word of English, had to learn English on the streets, but I do not remember any problems learning English. It just, you know, kids are like sponges. You just pick things up really quickly. So anyway, grade school in Miami, first grade in Miami. Then my father got a job with Philip Morris in Richmond, Virginia. He was an auditor. He was bilingual. He had worked for an American company in Cuba. So I went to grade school in Richmond, Virginia, and then he got a job in New York City. And then I went to high school in Westville, New Jersey.
Which is where I'm from,
Well,
yeah.
and I have a commonality too. I grew up in Petersburg, Virginia.
No kidding.
Just 20 minutes outside of
We
Richmond.
might have passed each other on the street one day.
This was meant to be, I
Probably.
think. What do you think? That's so. Were you into the arts as a child and as a teenager?
Really, I was always into the visual arts. I always drew, and I loved drawing and anything painting. But really, I mean, until my experience with the Philharmonic, the symphony when I was in 3rd grade, then my parents took me to some art classes. And when I lived in New Jersey is when I really started getting more and more into the arts. I went to public school, and I had a wonderful art teacher. She did art history and art at the same time. And I had friends that would go into New York City. And so I had artist friends, and we started riding the bus into New York City to go to the museums and all of that. And pretty much I was self-directed because I had no guidance from my family. But, you know, you sort of bump into things and you follow your passion. And for me, you know, going to see the arts was truly my passion.
Wasn't it a blessing being real close to Manhattan
Oh, it was
in that years?
fantastic.
Because you were just the arts capital of the world. Just go in
my
every...
father scared the heck out of me about going into New York City, but I was like a magnet to the city.
Yeah.
You would go in, the bus would drop you off in Times Square.
Port Authority.
It was so thrilling, and from there I would walk to the museums and ride the buses, and you know, here I am a teenager figuring all this stuff out, but my God, what an exciting opportunity.
I know that you love all of the arts. You
Yes.
love every single one of them. You think part of that is from your exposure to it in Manhattan? I mean, you were able to see so many things there, museums and shows, and do you
I
think
think
gives
that more, my love for all of the arts started when I started working Arts Council work, because I started to see each organization and each artistic discipline and the unique challenges and the beauty of each of the art form, and I just fell in love with every single one
And
of them.
when was that?
Oh gosh, I think I started in arts administration in 1982. But it was with a funding agency, just like the agency that I run today, and that's been my career track over 30 years, is working with those kinds of agencies that give away dollars to cultural organizations and artists. So I've been very fortunate to be able to experience amazing organization, amazing creatives. I've seen amazing work by these organizations, and I continue to be thrilled and honored and really humbled by the work I do and the people I have a chance to get to know.
When you look back at your career over the last 30 years, what are some of the highlights that make you especially proud that you followed your passion to doing what you're doing?
Believe it or not, getting an MBA. Surprise! I was an art major and a modern language major, and I worked for 10 years before realizing that I was dealing with a lot of business people and trying to cut a lot of deals for the arts, and I didn't have the language that I needed to work with business people or government people. And so I went back and got an MBA and a master's in arts administration, and that was a huge eye-opener for me. Gave me a lot more confidence in the work that I was doing to lead the way, and to negotiate things with the business community and present the arts from a business-like fashion. But it was one of the hardest things I ever did because I was an older student. I had 2 small children under the age of 5.
Wow.
So, and I hadn't taken math in 15 years. So to land back into a university setting and learn things that I had absolutely no background in while having 2 small children at home was a real challenge.
You are very driven. You have 2 children.
Yeah, that's scary
You
for
have
some
a master's and an MBA, a degree. What fuels your drive?
I love what I do. And I love to make good things happen for the cultural community. And I feel that I have a unique sense of being able to connect the dots and connect people with initiatives and see how it all pulls together, that somehow magically works, and in the end, really good things happen for everybody. So I love to do that work. It's kind of like being a preacher, you know, not unlike you, Josh. In our own way, you know, we're doing it because of love of community and love of artists and love of cultural organizations and knowing what amazing things they do for the community. And ultimately, my total goal is to make the general public have access and have amazing experiences with arts and culture.
I love how your face just lit up when you said, I love what I do.
Yeah, me too.
Well, you've been a leader in Houston and St. Louis and Atlanta, and you've been able to make such a great impression on all these communities. Can you just tell us maybe a highlight of your career? What are you so proud of that when you look back on these 30 years that you made a big difference in something?
I think what I'm most proud of in the work that I've done in the past is making major money accessible and available to the cultural community. In Missouri, we created a $100 million cultural trust for the arts, which was matched by an additional $100 million in private money. So it was a public $100 million matched by a private $100 million, built over a 10-year time frame that supported endowment building cash reserves, and capital constructions. That was a unique model with a unique source of funding that had a huge impact on the stabilization of arts and culture in Missouri. In Houston, we got an extra $1 million a year for the arts. In Fort Worth, where I worked, we got almost an extra $1 million from the car rental tax. So in many ways, politics and advocacy for the arts and finding unique funding sources for the arts has really been my strength and what I can bring to the table to really help move the needle forward.
Yeah, incredible work. I'm just so curious, when Flora Maria Garcia is not leading the arts in Central Florida, what do you do? What do you do?
I'm going to see the arts.
Well, there you go. That is a hobby, right?
I go to everything, and I love experiencing a new community, and I love to see what that community has to offer. But I'll go see anything from something really small, like a small art pop-up in downtown Orlando, to a contemporary dance gathering, to what's coming up, Carmina Burana, which is a collaboration between the Bach Festival and the ballet, which is amazing. So anywhere from just individual artists doing something to classical experiences, I really love it all. And
So if for someone listening today who's not been out to experience any art or performance in Orlando, what's one thing you would say to them to give them reason to go?
Well, first of all, the way to find out what's going on is to go to our event website called orlandoatplay.com.
Say it again.
orlandoatplay.com. It's all about the arts and entertainment, where people can find out what's going on. And a lot of things are free or half-price tickets, so that is your one source for finding out what's going on.
Fantastic.
And people should get involved because it's fun.
Thank you so much, Flora Maria.
You're very welcome.
The good news is we're going to have more conversation with Flora Maria when we get to find out about the future for United Arts and for Flora herself. Thanks for joining Joshua and I today on From the Heart.